All right, all right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. How I sound? Everything good? Mic quality good? Got
It's
this
lovely.
little arm thing right here. I
Look
don't know
at
what the
you.
technical, I don't know what the technical term for that is, but it sits right next to my face. It's no longer right in front of my laptop, and I just feel like it looks better, sounds better, is better.
You're
How you doing
very
today, Tyler?
professional. You're very
Hey,
professional. I'm
mad
doing well.
professional.
I'm doing well. I'm over the shock
Mm,
and yeah, the heartbreak of the game.
it's
You
tough.
know, it
It's tough.
was mad entertaining, very exciting, a perfect way to kick off the season. I thought we would lose, but to see us so close to victory, I wanted us to pull that out. So, of course, we're going to talk about that today.
Nah, absolutely, man, and we'll just kind of get right into it here and kind of talk about the game just a little bit before we get into some of our takeaways and a little bit more discussion items. Um, but yeah, man, to your point, right? It was a tough loss, but a tough loss and a very entertaining game. Final score 29-31,
Mm.
held it all the way till the end right there. We got that field goal with about a minute and a half left. I know me and you were standing in my living room saying that it wasn't going to be enough, that it was too much time. We needed that
Way too
touchdown at the
much.
end, and that's exactly what happened, right? Brady came in and did what Brady does, and took that game away from us right there at the end with that last second field goal. So yeah, it was a tough loss, but overall, I think if we kind of review our week one preview that we put out Thursday morning, um, kind of went right in line with what we were saying, right? The game
Yeah,
scores were pretty close to kind of what our predictions were.
I was a
And it
little
kind of
low, but yeah.
yeah. You didn't believe in my boy Dak like that, and I get it.
Whoa. Okay.
It's okay. Not
Much
everybody's willing to
slander.
do so right now. I've
Wow.
been believing in him for like 5 years, so it's easy for me.
Wow.
Not for everybody. It's okay. It's cool. It's fine. We all right.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, so 29-31, it was a really entertaining game. Kind of played out exactly like we were saying. Just too many drives where the Cowboys settled for field goals when they should have been able to get in the end zone. I think we ended 1 of 4 on red zone drives last night as far as resulting in a touchdown. Really got to see that be 2 or 3 out of 4 when we get those opportunities. Got to find a way to put that ball in the end zone. So yeah, we'll go through some of these key takeaways, go through some of this stuff here. Just some quick player updates, a couple notable things coming out of the game. Michael Gallup during the game, pretty early on, looked like he was going to have a pretty decent day. He was cooking the old boy on the other side of Carlton Davis all game long, until he got banged up a little bit. Coming out of the game, it looks like he's going to be out for at least 3 to 5 weeks with a calf strain. So
Tough.
no Michael Gallup for the next month or so. I'll say on that piece, that's not a catastrophic injury, if you will. And obviously not something that you want to happen, right? He is a good receiver, but he's also your number 3 receiver, and you still have your top quarterback, still have most of your offensive line, which we'll get to here in just a second. And you got some serviceable players underneath him. Cedric Wilson's been in the locker room for a few years now. I think he's going to be able to step in. He's going to be able to make some decent plays, and you still got CD and Coop out there that are going to be doing their thing as well. Rolling into that offensive line discussion. So, of course, there was no Zach Martin for week one. Assuming everything goes well, he passes through COVID protocol early this week. He should be back in practice. There should be no issues there. We should see him Sunday night. But the big news coming out, and not necessarily from the game, just a couple days later there, Lyle Collins with a
Mm-hmm.
5-game suspension for failing to comply with the league's substance abuse policy. Now, he did not fail a drug test, just failed to show up for a drug test.
Yeah, he
He
didn't,
is
he just said that wasn't for him. I'm not gonna take I don't know that. Please don't quote me on that.
no drug test here. I can't do it. Yeah, of course we don't know any mitigating circumstances that may have led to why that may be. But it is what it is. It does look like he's going to try to appeal the suspension. His lawyers and NFLPA came out with a pretty harsh statement directed towards Goodell and the commissioner's office and how they've handled this process. So we'll see. There's definitely a possibility, depending on how long this appeal process plays out, that we still see him next Sunday, and then he serves 5 games after that, right? So we'll just have to see how that piece plays out. But as of right now, we do have Lyle Collins on a 5-game suspension for failing to comply with the league's substance abuse policy. So moving right into some of our key takeaways, I kind of want to just have a discussion here with you, Ty. So give me your 3 key takeaways from the game on Thursday night. Tell me what you saw. Tell me what you felt. Tell me what you heard.
Man, well, you know what I felt and heard me pretty well while we were watching the game.
Yeah.
It was exciting. And, I did say on our game preview that I thought we'd only score 20 points because Dak would be a little rusty, right? And maybe not so much him, but the offense in general. I was wrong. He's not rusty. He is well-oiled machine, ready to go, picking up right where
he left off. Baby. 4 is here, baby.
And again, progressing with the mental part of the game and the decision making. It seems like every time he steps onto the field. Okay. So that first key takeaway is that our talent and play calling, okay, and play calling on offense is good enough to beat anyone. This is going to be, like you mentioned, top 5 offense in the NFL, possibly top 3, maybe the top. It's not just the talent, though. The play calling was excellent. There was, I'm sure the relief of many Cowboy fans, multiple formations, multiple personnel groupings. And with the Tampa Bay stifling that run opportunity, you saw a dedicated effort to use the short passing game, screens, right? Tight end screens, stacked up wide receiver screens, quick passes to Pollard, quick passes underneath. Those were crucial. The 58 attempts by Dak, that is a lot. But a lot of those were screens. A lot of them were very short, get the ball out immediately. But I like that play calling. Of course, we love the talent on paper. That was the big, all the big buzz coming into the season. So Thursday night solidified that talent and play calling is good enough to beat anyone. Secondly, I'm impressed. I am with the defense. There are some aspects of it I was very impressed with, specifically generating turnovers, right? 2 forced fumbles, which that second forced fumble was huge. Because he putting the helmet on the ball right on the 2-yard line. That was huge. And the 2 picks. Listen, we're gonna take them. People are, they gave it away. It was Fournette. It was this. It's hard to take the ball away in the NFL. I don't care.
Turnovers are turnovers,
right?
Baby.
I don't care if Brady walked it over there to him and handed it to him. That's a pick. Okay.
Damn, I wish he would.
I
wish he would.
Those 4 turnovers were very impressive. And, one's off a Hail Mary. Sure. I get it. That is one of the main issues that the defense has had over the last few seasons is taking the ball away from the opponent. So to generate 4 turnovers in the first matchup, very encouraging. I do question some of the play calling on defense, just situationally, but we can get into that a little later. But overall, very impressed with the turnovers. Last, but certainly not least, we've talked about it before ourselves, Cowboys fans in general. You got to tighten up the details and the discipline, right? I think about a few drops. I think about Dak throwing some balls and looking like him and, the receiver are not on the same page. A couple of times where Dak, and I know he's got 58 attempts and he looked great. I mean, top QB. He's going to be a top 3, top 4 QB, at the end of the season for sure. But there were some times where, he's holding the ball. He's probably just trying to make a play, man. It was a close game. He's trying to make a play for his team, but you have to know when to throw it away, where the pressure's coming from. Don't take sacks in certain situations. That was big. Of course, the holding penalties. And I know you could probably call holding on every play in the NFL, but you got to.
That's what they say.
You have to try. You have to try to not, have that be the drive killer. And we saw a few times on Thursday that derailed drives that we were right on the edge of the red zone. So that we got to clean that up. And of course, special teams, but not a big. It's a concern, but more so from the fact that we didn't do anything to be prepared for week 1. We know Greg was out, with injury the whole off
leg.
Right. He was rehabbing, and this is really him getting back into it. He's a veteran. He's gonna come into form, but so many close games in the NFL, you had to prepare better for that. And I put that on coaching. That's not on Greg. He's supposed to go out there and kick, but he's going to be better. You have to prepare for that situation and, not leave those points on the field. So those are my 3 main takeaways from the game. Like I said, overall, feeling good about the trajectory of the season and the trajectory of both sides of the ball, the coaching in general. Everything looks like we are heading in the right direction. But yeah, man, what did you think about the game? What are those takeaways or any comments on those things that I went over there?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think one thing, I think it's a good, 3 good call outs, really, right? I think we saw a lot of the same things. The defense, that's kind of what we talked about, right? Is that they were going to give up points, they were going to give up yards, but could they, capitalize on opportunities? And for the most part, they really did. Me, I was yelling at Trayvon to be a superhuman, cyborg or something and pick that ball that was in front of Mike Evans on that final drive. And look, that's not a play you can expect him to make, right? But if he does make that play, the game's over.
That's it.
Like, that's it. That's the game, right? That one play could have been the game. So while I don't fault him for making that play, that's some of the stuff that we were kind of talking about where they've got to be opportunistic. I think they did a pretty good job with that overall. My overbearing, sports fandom tells me that they needed to make one more. Outside of that,
we can get into that a little later.
Yeah.
We can, because the margins of error are slim. And I don't think we realize how slim, but yeah, we do. We have to make one more play on defense. We have to.
Yeah, you can make plays all game, but if you don't make it at the end of the game in a 1-possession game, it doesn't matter, right? So as far as my key takeaways, first one, I got to put my guy Dak up there, got to put him up on that pedestal where he belongs. I said it at the beginning of the season in our first show. I'm going to say it again. Dak Prescott is going to be an MVP candidate this year. Top 3. Put him up there with Mahomes. Put him up there with Rodgers, Wilson, Jackson, Allen, whoever you want. Dak can run with those guys. He can. He proved it. Everybody, all these storylines on the sideline talking about, coming back from an ankle injury and, now his shoulder's hurt. And, is he going to be able to throw the ball? Is he going to be able to move around in the pocket? Is he going to be able to get outside of the pocket? He silenced everybody, right, in one night. He threw the ball damn near 60 times, right? 58 passing attempts, 69 total dropbacks, the most in his career. Now, he's never dropped back that much. So if anybody had any doubts that Dak was not feeling super healthy or that he's not worth that $40 million a year that he's getting paid, I really, really hope that he's silenced those in week 1 and we can just look at football the rest of the way. because that man is going to be in the MVP race. And y'all do not be surprised if he wins that MVP. I'm telling you right now, this team gets on a roll. We make the playoffs, and that man is playing football like that with those weapons out there. Come on, man. I mean, it's just there's only two or three other people that you can even consider. So that's takeaway number one is that let's kind of quell some of the Dak hate that we've had going on here for the last really the last 5 years of his career, right? This
That's
isn't a
right.
new thing, but my man's was on point. He was in prime time fashion, and he really showed out Thursday night. Talking about the defense a little bit, I won't beleaguer the point too much that you made, but really my takeaway from the defense was, it was good enough to win, right? They did what they needed to do. We knew they were going to give up points. We knew that Mike Evans was on the other side. We knew Chris Godwin was on the other side. We knew Antonio Brown was over there. We know Tom Brady's on that team. We know that offensive line is good. We know they got Fournette and Rojo. We know the team was good. We know our defense is suspect. We know it's young. We know there's a lot of unproven talent on that roster right now. So I really thought they did enough to win. I tweeted out at the end of the game, the last possession or two, that if we lose this game, it's not on the defense. Yes, Brady had the ball last. No, we didn't make a play like we were just talking about in that final drive, but they did enough. And let's be honest, if there wasn't a super suspect no call on that Chris Godwin catch at the end of the game, it might have ended the game right there anyway. So not much you can do about that from a defensive standpoint. That was actually one of the few times that Anthony Brown or Jordan Lewis were in the right position to make a play, and he got pushed. And the refs missed it. It happens. It's part of football. I'm not putting the whole game on that one play, but that was a tough way to go down to kind of see that penalty not get thrown on that play right there to Godwin. But overall, I felt like the defense was good enough to win. And then my final takeaway on there, and we'll get into this guy a little bit more later on. But the bright lights of opening day, playing the Super Bowl champs in their home stadium, they weren't too bright for Micah Parsons. He was out there almost 80% of the snaps. He was flying around, had 7 tackles, had a quarterback hit, and a batted down ball. He was all over the place. There were some times where you could see the youth, right? You could see the uncertainty, where he wasn't reading just right off top, right? Like he wasn't see ball go, see the read go. There were a couple times where he got caught up, the one play on the sideline to Fournette where Brady's falling down and whips that ball out there and magically gets it into the, catchable radius. And Parsons is right there on Fournette. That's one of those plays that we've got to have. So it wasn't a perfect performance from Parsons, but again, to the point that the lights certainly were not too bright for Michael Parsons on Thursday night. I think we're going to be very, very happy with that pick. And as I said, first show that I was wrong about him, and I'll say that right now. And I think we're going to be very happy about that. So I want to move into some conversations about some winners and losers on each side of the ball. So I'm going to start with my offensive winner and then my offensive loser, and then I'll talk about the defense, and then we'll pass it your way to give us your guys that you're looking at. So winner that I got on the offensive side of the ball, again, I told y'all, wide receiver number 1 wears number 19 on his back. It's not number 88, it's number 19. Coop is wide receiver 1, y'all. He's the man. 2 touchdowns, 16 total targets, triple-digit yardage. You can't guard him. The dude limps around like he's a 75-year-old man when he's not on the field. But as soon as he lines up on that line of scrimmage, it's go time. He was cooking people all game. Carlton Davis, made a couple nice plays out there, but for the most part, you just can't guard him. It doesn't matter what route he's running, if he's inside, if he's outside. So Coop was a big winner for me. I think there's been a lot of talk. Obviously he missed a lot of training camp. He missed a lot of the preseason. Nagging injuries as the guy normally has. And don't get me wrong, he's probably going to miss 2-3 games this year for whatever reason. And he's going to be questionable basically every week. He's still wide receiver 1. The dude's a monster. So put a little bit of respect on my man Coop's name. That's my offensive win winner for week 1. My loser, and let me kind of preface this, right? We talked about this pre-show. There's not really any real losers, right, from the offense. It was a good offensive showing. We did a lot of great things out there. You kind of talked about some of the miscues, the little, misreads, missteps, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any real losers. So we kind of had to dig a little bit deep for this one. But the guy that I want to talk about in the loser range for week 1 is Zeke. And not because he didn't perform well,
Mm,
but really he just didn't get the opportunities. The Cowboys, I was really happy that they allowed the defense to dictate where they were going to go with the ball. They didn't try to force the run. They didn't try to force the pass or force to a specific player. They just went where the reads told them to go. And I think that's how you got to play football. If the defense is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense and it's that run defense, you got to throw the ball. And if you have Dak Prescott, maybe you got to throw the ball 60 times, right? And really, for the most part, it worked. So I'm not
right.
upset with the fact that Zeke didn't get those opportunities. But it is tough, see him only 11 carries, 3 yards a carry. So he didn't really get a whole lot of opportunity. Didn't do a lot with the opportunity. He was getting stuffed a lot, right out the gate. So not
Yeah.
not really again, a whole lot that he was able to do when it came to the run game.
I
And I
mean, you
will
saw
note
what
to
Vita Vea was doing. You
yeah,
saw.
man,
Come on.
that dude, Vita Vea was throwing Tyler Biotish and Connor Williams into Dak Prescott's lap. It was ridiculous. It was, I don't know, it was like it was mall time at Christmas, and Dak Prescott was Santa, and the kids were the offensive linemen. It was like, go sit in Santa's lap, kids, go do
I
your thing.
just you
It's
see you see players like that,
it's crazy.
and you know that the offensive linemen are big, but they don't look they don't look strong enough to play against him. And I mean,
Nah,
he just blew up everything in the middle. And I mean, he's not the only one there. So, Sue and Paul and David and Devin White are waiting in the wings after Vea has blown up whatever blocking scheme you were attempting to
right.
implement. It just, yeah, I do. I hear what you're saying. Um, I don't think this is indicative of a season of underperformance or anything of that nature from Zeke. He
No,
played
not
well
at
in
all.
the passing game, so I'm not worried about my guy.
Yeah, no, that was kind of the note that I was going to end it on with him is, I will say the pass protection, I mean, it was immaculate. I think, early on in the game, you had kind of called out a miss when Levante David was
He
coming up,
whiffed.
and he
Yeah,
he
he
kind of
whiffed on the
whiffed on
first
that
one.
one. But after that one, I mean, he was pretty much on point the rest of the game from there in pass protection. He did a really nice
He
job
did.
picking up those blitzers. Tampa Bay throws a lot of bodies at you from a lot of different directions. And having that running back there to be able to pick up that extra man is so instrumental to letting a play develop. So I do think he did a nice job there. So yeah, Zeke for me, we'll give him a loss ish. That's what we'll go with an ish on there for Zeke.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Now moving to the defensive side of the ball, got to tell y'all, man, my dude Trayvon Diggs is a dog. People,
Hmm.
he did not let Mike Evans get off all night. He got 2 illegal contact to the face penalties because
He's
he wouldn't
fighting
let Mike Evans move.
because
Yeah,
he
he
was fighting
was.
them.
He was hand fighting the whole game. I
That's
mean
hilarious.
that I really was. I was crazy impressed with the performance that you got out of Trayvon. Locked down a guy who's been one of the most consistent receivers in the league ever to start his career,
Ever.
right? 1,000-yard seasons every single year. And not to say that Mike Evans is matchup proof because we've seen corners lock him down before, but to see one of our guys do it, to see a second-year corner do that, I mean, that's exactly the kind of development you're looking for in a guy like Trayvon Diggs. So I
Exactly.
was really happy to see that. He got his hands on a couple balls, came away with the 1 interception, and he almost won the game.
Mm,
That
mm,
one
mm.
hurt. That one hurt. It was, though. It was right there. He was in great position.
Shout out D
And
Law on the pressure.
yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say. If D-Law doesn't get that pressure to make that ball come out kind of low, if Trayvon doesn't get his hand on that ball, that game might have ended a little bit earlier, honestly, because there was a lot of grass in front of Evans if he gets that ball to him. So,
Hmm.
um, Definitely a big win for me with Trayvon coming out of the secondary. You got to have that with this team right now if we're going to be successful going forward into the season.
I heard
The
that.
loser for me, again, something that we kind of called out, and I believe I referenced it as AB on AB crime.
Hey, it ain't so.
Anthony Brown. I just can't
Did
wait
you
for
think
Kelvin
he?
Joseph to get healthy, man.
Let's be
I got to
honest.
see something else, bro. I got to see something else. I can't look at
Anthony
that again.
Anthony Brown may not be what you want there. I can't I can't imagine he'd be that bad week to week. He was playing Antonio Brown. I
Sure,
can't imagine he'd be
sure,
that bad week to week.
sure,
He
sure.
was guarding a number one receiver, and we would never put Anthony Brown on a number one receiver.
Yeah, but he's not going to be that good week to week either. Right? Like maybe he won't be that bad. He's not going to be that good either, though. So
Oh man, it
we
just
know what we're gonna
goes
get,
rough.
right? He Anthony Brown for the most part, you're right, plays competent NFL football. So that's what we're gonna call it because I'm feeling nice today. I've had a good weekend.
Okay.
He plays competent NFL football most weeks. He's been in the Dallas, defensive locker room for 5 years at this point. So he knows the system, he knows the team, he knows the players, he knows the coaches. Um, I need something else. I need Kelvin to recover, and I need him to come and take that job because I think I've seen about all I need to see of Anthony Brown. That was and you're right. I mean, it was against Antonio Brown, and you've got Mike Evans, you've got Chris Godwin on the team as well. So it's not like he drew the most favorable matchup in the world. But man, that the deep touchdown, that 44 yarder or whatever it was, I mean,
Man,
it was never a chance.
there were
Antonio Brown
plenty.
didn't even really do anything. He just kind
There,
of stuttered and went. Like I
yeah,
don't even know what he was looking at.
there were plenty of other plays too where
It
Brady
was
just wasn't making the read to Brown, where
yeah, Brady
he's
missed some
getting
of those
broke
throws.
off. He's getting broke off. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Brown could have easily had 4 or 5 more receptions with a long runs after the catch. He was separating with ease. I mean, it looked
Mm-hmm.
like one-on-ones against the practice team. So again,
Yeah.
I don't want to believe he's going to be that bad the rest of the season, but there is, unless we get to the postseason or later in the postseason, he's not going to play another receiver of that caliber on a
Probably
basis.
not. But I mean, look, there's other teams that have two good outside wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
And he's not going to go to the slot. Trayvon can only guard one of those guys. We are going to see some good receiving cores out there. There's 500 receivers in the NFL now, and they're all good. I don't know. I know they're not Antonio Brown, but they're
They're
all
not.
good.
Yeah.
I will say just kind of a last point here, and then I'll let you read out your winners and losers.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my losers basically call back to your fantasy projections that you made. The pregame show that we did, where you said, "Look, if Zeke is your guy, maybe he's not your guy this week. He goes 11 touches for 30 yards, right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we talked a lot about the AB matchup. And you said Antonio Brown, where he was ranked 29th, and Chris Godwin was ranked 13th, and he had 100 yards and a touchdown, right? So I will say, hats off to you, sir. Major kudos for apparently being the fantasy king over here, and
Yeah. Right.
your astute analysis before the game that
Yeah.
that proved to be true. And on that note, take me through your winners and losers for the week.
Yeah, man. And on offense, like you said, it's hard to pick a loser, right? But I'm going to start there first because as I was watching the game and thinking after the game, Lamb goes 7 for 104 and a touchdown.
But
he could have played better.
Tell me about it.
There's two main things. There's two main things, right? And again, the expectations are heavy. Okay? The expectations are heavy. And you wear that 88, you get the praise as the playmaker, you get the shine, you're wearing the star on the helmet. This is what comes with it, okay? That 7 for 104 is nice. The drops though, I can't have that. I
Mm-hmm.
personally, and you've heard me talk about this ad nauseum, I can't stand body catches. I can't
And
stand it.
alligator arms and
Put your
the
hands put your hands out, grab the football, and secure it.
got to.
I'm
Got
not
to.
saying, and I, on that pick. Now, when Dak throws the pick, when Lamb hits it and it falls to the defense,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he should have thrown the ball to Cooper. That was, remember when we were watching it, that was the first thing I said. There's green,
That's
nothing
right.
but green grass. The only
That's
way
right.
that ball is contested to Cooper is if he throws it on a rope, like straight to him underneath.
Sure.
Any kind of air under that ball, and Cooper is skipping into the end zone. There's nobody,
Mm-hmm.
just green grass in between him and the boundary. Now, that being said, the throw to Lamb was good. Okay,
It was.
he put it where it needed to be.
Maybe a little bit ill-advised, but it
But
was
it
on the
was
money.
there. It was
It was
there.
on the money.
He
You
put
can't
it in a place
do it.
where
You in
he
this
had
thing,
to
bro.
make a play,
Gotta go
right?
get that ball.
And that's the NFL. I'm not gonna give you a cookie cutter catch, but you're CD Lamb. You got to go get that.
Yeah, you just when you're running side to side like that, you can't have your arms here, right? Because then the ball does exactly what it does and it goes right through.
Exactly.
You got to have your hands out right here, ready to catch that thing.
You got to.
You can't let that thing go through. And to your point, I just kind of was pulling up the box score real quick while you were talking.
Right.
So if you look at Cooper and CD, and you look at just the catches, right? You say 7, 104 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Now Coop goes 13 for 139 and 2 touchdowns. But really the biggest difference there is Coop had 16 targets. Lamb had 15, right? So Coop only has one more target than Lamb, but he has 6 more catches.
Exactly.
And I think that really speaks to some of that chemistry that you're talking about.
Right.
And the drops, right? 3 or 4 drop passes. That's a big ding right
there.
And
I remember 3 drops. But the thing that won't see in the box score is there's 2 or 3 throws where at the top of the route, Dak and CD are not on the same page.
Yep.
Dak is throwing a go, CD's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Dak's throwing a comeback, CD's going. Okay.
Had a couple of those with Gallup too.
Yeah. And, I have to believe that those things will get cleaned up. Okay. But these are the margins of error in these games, right? Right off the top, we compete with the championship level team, right? Or a team that people expect to contend, right? No one's, they're the defending champions, but no one has done anything this year.
Mm-hmm.
You're contending right there. The margin of error is small. These catches have to be made. Those first downs have to be made, right? Possession needs to continue. Those are the things that take, 7 off the board and put 3 up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
sure.
take 3 off the board and give the ball back, and you see quick strike ability on Tampa Bay's, sideline, and that those things are concerning to me, right? But I think they get better. So if I have to pick a loser on offense, I'm going to pick CD Lamb. Okay. No disrespect, my guy is going to be great. He was good. But he needs to be great. Okay. And Cooper is just, silently going about his business, just dominating, so
wide receiver 1, baby.
I need CD to ascend to that level, right? The efficiency with the targets, no drops, or, very, very limited drops.
I just need him to catch the ball when it's thrown to him, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't have to be Coop, right? We have a wide receiver 1 and we have a wide receiver 1B with CD. We do. Yeah. Well, you gotta catch the ball though. You have to. You don't have to be Coop, but you gotta catch the ball when it's thrown your way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not gonna beat my guy up too much again, but if I'm looking at the offense and someone to improve, Lamb has got to tighten it up.
Yep.
Now the
Nope.
winner,
Tell me about it.
that's Dak Prescott.
Mm.
Dakota Rain Prescott. That's the winner. Okay. I thought that there would be rust. I thought that it may take a quarter or two for him to get back in rhythm. Maybe the speed of the game, maybe a lingering injury concern, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
literally whatever. I don't care what it is that you thought
Thought
was
wrong,
going to
sir.
happen.
Thought wrong.
It's yeah. I mean, we're just wrong. And Dak is one of those guys.
Not we. Not we.
Not you. I mean,
Not we,
me
sir.
and other people that thought
Not we, sir.
that.
Y'all got it
Yeah.
wrong.
And look, the level that he played at, that's where I expected him to be, just not immediately. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
It was an impressive showing.
very impressive. To throw 58 passes, complete 42, right? So 72, 73% completion, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, right? 403. You can say, oh, they were screen passes. It's short. Anybody can do it. Not everybody can do that. The
Whatever
short
it
passing
is.
game.
Still 7 yards per attempt. I'll take it.
Right. Exactly. Right. So look at look at those yards per attempt. And again, the rhythm, the timing that's needed to make sure that you execute on that. That short passing game, if executed poorly, can kill the offense, just like bad runs. Okay. Dak Prescott, I mean, he looks like he's going to be the MVP or right there.
Say it. Baby.
You're not gonna be able to leave
Say
him
it.
out of the conversation.
Say it.
That is
MVP.
for sure. That is for sure. Will the team have success? Right? Will they get those other things? Right? Will they make the playoffs, or win the division? Things of that nature that we expect of the MVP. Right? That is the only question for the season. I feel good about it. That's the only question. Dak is going to perform at a all world level, and I'm here for it. That is it is so crucial to have good quarterback play in the NFL. And the Cowboys, I mean, I don't think anybody except for you from day one have been saying that he is going to be consistently, a top quarterback in the league. And Dak, as long as the team around him is going to rise to the occasion, Dak is going to put you in contention for a championship. It's going to. His window's opening. If my guy can stay healthy, they're going to have that guy under center that can lead you to a championship and help you contend year in and year out. On defense, speaking of,
tell me about it.
Participant or contributors on defense, Parsons, he's the winner, man. There was high expectations. He looks this, he looks that. Is he going to be able to, make the transition to the NFL, and will he still look as good? I asked him to do everything. Now, he didn't rush the passer a lot, but as far as efficiency, generating pressures, disrupting, high percentage. Okay. He played coverage, played well. He's staying with people. Running backs and tight ends, let them run. That's fine. You don't want them covering a slot receiver, but running backs and tight ends, fine. Run them out there. It doesn't matter. You mentioned, hey, you want him to make that play when Brady's slipping, throwing the ball to Fournette.
Sure.
Him and Fournette are standing right there.
Sure.
Parsons is going to, he's hungry and he wants to be the best. He's going to study those things and be ready. He will. But he looked good, and you saw that the impact, right? To have a linebacker with that skill set allows other people around him to do things that they are more comfortable with, that are in their wheelhouse. And there were some questionable like I said, coverage assignments that I saw throughout the game a couple times. But I do believe that Dan Quinn is going to get it together and put the right pieces out there most of the time. And they're going to perform. And Parsons is going to be the main reason for that. His versatility and him being able to do multiple things is going to give that defense the edge it needs to make plays and make a difference. Now, on the flip side of that,
Who's a loser?
You already talked about it. We know, baby. AB on AB crime. Anthony Brown. Yeah, and I don't want to beat him up anymore, but Anthony Brown you have to play better than that.
There's got to be the loser coming out, right? If you got one individual player, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. And, not that I think he's just a complete scrub, but like you said, is he going to play another Antonio Brown this season? No. But will he play people that are pretty good? Yeah. You can't be that bad. And, on some of those routes where he's getting beat, he just looks completely lost. And again, on the long touchdown, Antonio Brown just ran by him. He didn't even give him a route. Anthony Brown's
like one little stutter and
sure.
I'll see you later, bro.
And he's, that's his responsibility. And he's, with his feet in his eyes, looking in the backfield, trying to jump something. I mean, come on. It's just you and Antonio Brown, man. If he's still running, you need to be running with him. So the performance, the execution can be better on his part, of course. But I don't think anyone is going to be sad when Mr. Joseph is healthy and we can look at some different options, in the secondary, because that's just rough. And with the, I'll transition into, some of the just some other details about the game.
Yeah, give me some of your last thoughts. What are some final thoughts? Let's put a bow on this thing.
When you look at the, just to give you an idea, right? The top offenses in the league score about 28 to 30 points a game every season.
Mm-hmm.
To be a middle of the pack defense, okay, just to be in the top half of the league, you have to keep your opponent in the low 20s, 20, 23 points, 24 points, somewhere in that range, okay, so that you can give your offense a chance every week to win the game. Now, you're still talking about a margin of victory of 3 or 4 points, right? And that's what we saw this past week. We're talking about a defense that is got talent. It made some plays. The plays that you have to make, though, you have to keep the touchdowns off the board. I don't always know what it's going to look like. Maybe it's a fumble. Maybe it's a strip. Maybe it's a sack. Maybe it's an interception. You have to find a way to keep the touchdown off the board and take the 3 or force a punt. You have to, because any of those drives, if we can get a field goal instead of a touchdown for the defense, we win the game. Mm-hmm. Vice versa, right? On offense, the 3rd and goal, right? We're driving.
It was a tough
3rd and goal. Toss out to Zeke. Zeke's one-on-one. Now, that was Jarwin who missed the block, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look, you obviously want to execute better. I don't think Jarwin's proud of whiffing on that block.
Yeah, that was tough.
Ezekiel Elliott and insert defender here. I got to win that one-on-one in space.
Yeah, you got to get that ball and go upfield with it. You got to make the guy miss, get upfield. You have to.
And again, I'm not I'm not trying to, say, oh, that's why, he's not, great anymore. But in a game where your impact is going to be limited because of how good the rush defense is, when you are one of the top playmakers on the team and I'm
Mm-hmm.
inside the five, I'm inside the five, you know. And I know Zeke has got to, you know, be salivating, you know, when we get to the red zone, like finally, you know, give me the ball, right? I can make somebody miss and score here. So I think going forward, he will be productive this season. But that's a, you know, that's a big play. You know, we took 3 right there instead of the 7. I even looked at you while we were watching that game. Said,
Yep. Yep. It happened a couple
that
times, right? We
that
said like
7,
104 in the red zone. They're not going to
you
cut it.
know,
We got to
that
be better.
even you know, for how much Dak played well, right? You have to improve that. It's second and 10. He
Mm-hmm.
rolls out
Where he
left.
takes that sack.
Rolls out left. Now, before he takes that sack, though, he sees, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
looking. He sees Shaq Barrett in front of him, and Shaq Barrett's disengaged from the block now, right? So it's
Yeah,
just you and
you're
him.
not gonna beat him around the edge.
Exactly.
You gotta let go of that thing. You
Dak is
have to.
athletic, but you're not making that play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Respect what's happening. He looks at the sideline like he's gonna let
Yep.
it go and
Yep.
holds the ball. That's a 10, 12 yard sack.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that, right? And then on that on another red zone or right outside the red zone drive, we get our holding, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep. You had penalties. You had some
hey,
false starts. You had some holdings. You had some
you know,
drops, some misreads. You know, just that red zone offense has got to be crisper. It's got to be better. It just has to be.
you have to exit. Understanding the margin is 3 or 4 points. That's what we're talking about. All 60 minutes, we're talking 3 or 4 points. So that one play, that drive where you don't get the touchdown instead of the field goal, that, oh, you know, we missed that tackle on third down and then they actually got into the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference. So did the defense play good enough to win? They were impressive, but good enough to win, you got to keep them under 25.
Yeah.
Because your offense as at its best, even when things are, even with the miscues, at best you're going to score 20, 30 points a game on average. I got to keep you under 25. I have to find a way to do that. And when I look through the Cowboys scoring defense in recent history, they traditionally over the last 4 or 5 years been about 20, 21 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this last season where they got up to 29. And then to
Mm-hmm.
start the year, right, we give up 29 again. Now, I think this defense is going to improve and be better. But what I think versus what actually happens, you know, may be very different.
Sure. Sure.
And
Sure.
that, again, if I can't, you know, turnovers, all these things, all these measurable things are nice. At the end of the day, can I keep you under that 25 to 24 point mark? Then I can give my elite offense a chance to win every game.
Mm-hmm.
All
No,
right. So
absolutely.
that's my big takeaway from week 1 is that, you know, we have to find a way in those crucial moments to make one more play and understand that it is the difference in the game. And, you know, I haven't even mentioned that OPI, and there's a reason, because that's not it. And you can cry all day if you want. Do I
I
think it
might.
was a push? Yeah. I mean, he extended his arm. Sure, by definition, that looked like OPI. Even the
Mm-hmm.
rules,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, the rules correspondent on the broadcast said so. He thinks it's
Mm-hmm.
OPI as well.
Yep.
What, you know? Who cares? Again,
Yeah,
there were
it's not
multiple.
just the one play though, right?
Yeah,
You know, to
it's
your
not.
point.
It's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's again optimistic about the season. I think we're on the right track. We're on the right trajectory. But these are things to watch and things to get better. You know, we a lot of optimism in the off season, a lot of positivity. You know, talking people up. But now it's time to perform. So week to week, we're going to watch that and see what gets better.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you know, for me, I really don't have any other, main takeaways really. Just a couple little points that we kind of touched on. don't need to expand too much. I don't feel like I think we did a pretty good job running through everything. I'm ready to move on to week 2. But just a couple last little notes for me. The defensive line, right? I don't think we talked a whole lot about the defensive line. And again, we're playing an elite offensive unit with a
Yeah.
good offensive line, good running backs, good receivers. We got to get to the quarterback,
Brady
right? We
releases
got
the
to get
ball
there.
too quick, though. It's too fast.
He
It's too
does,
fast.
but the pressure's got to be there. Those pockets are too clean. Because I mean, there were times where he's sitting there and you see him. It's like one read, two read, and you even called it one
Right?
time like he read and then came back on that touchdown to Anthony Brown, that deep pass. You
Yeah.
saw him release,
Yeah.
went through a couple progressions, and then came back and threw it
Yeah.
down the sideline. Right? There's
Yeah.
no way he should have time to make that throw.
I
That's
agree
just
with you.
it's inexcusable. I think DeMarcus Lawrence did a good job. You look at his pressures, stuff like that. His one-on-one rate, he was beating his man most of the game, and he had a tough matchup with Tristan Wirfs. So, I think that he did
Yeah.
good. I think we got to see more from guys like Randy Gregory. Parsons came off the edge a handful of times. I think he had 13 pressures is what I looked at, or 13, not pressures. That'd be great. 13 pass rushes with
Yeah.
only two pressures.
Yeah.
Right. And again, that's a young player, but if I'm sending that dude off the edge, if I'm sending him up the middle, I'm hoping for maybe a couple more pressures, more than just the one quarterback hit that he had. So just a couple of those things. I think the defensive line has got to tighten up, because if they don't, we're going to see a lot more of Anthony Brown looking at the back of people's jerseys. That's just the
Yeah.
reality of it.
You can't ask them to cover for 3 seconds, 4 seconds.
Our guys can't do it.
Yeah, and
They can't do it.
There wasn't a whole bunch of times that they were holding the ball that long. Brady was just firing that thing out. But I do hear you.
It's just a little too clean for me.
Yeah, it was a little too clean, and there were some times where they were dropping, Gregory and Lawrence in coverage and sending other guys or trying to. And those are some head scratchers to me. Those are your premier pass rushers. What are you going to do? You're going to confuse Tom Brady? He invented the test.
Man,
come on.
That was going to be my final point too, right? It was just, hey,
come on.
Dan Quinn, if you're listening, Dan, let me talk to you, Dan, real quick,
boy, please.
If you're listening, I like a lot of what you're doing. I'm glad you're finally coaching our players. Stop dropping DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory in coverage, please. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Gronk is 75 years old, okay? He shouldn't be going up the seam for a touchdown because DeMarcus Lawrence has to chase his ass, okay? That shouldn't be a thing. It just shouldn't. That's unacceptable.
In the goal line situation too.
Yeah, goal to go. I mean, come on.
What are you doing?
I didn't like it. It was a couple of those third downs where we just got cooked on that. But, I won't beat it up too much because overall I liked a lot of what they were doing. I know there's a lot of young players there. But, man, just stop doing that, Dan, please. I like you. Please. I like what you're doing. Stop doing that. That was a good test run. We did it against one of the best offenses in the game. It didn't work. Let's not do it anymore. Let's just stop that. It's bad. But that's pretty much all I had. Just wanted to hit on those couple pieces there. So, going forward, week 2 coming up, getting ready to play against the Chargers. We'll have a nice little preview show coming out. Hopefully we'll get it out before, the day of the game like we did this last week. Work schedules, things like that. Sometimes kind of jump in front of the line there with some of that stuff. So, but outside of that, good week 1 performance. I'm actually pretty happy with the team. I still feel pretty good about my conference championship prediction because we went up against the defending Super Bowl champs, first team in the modern era to return all 22 starters, and we played a hell of a game. So all in all, happy with the performance. Wish we could have got a dub, but there's 16 more of these games, and the schedule really only gets easier as we go through the season. So any final thoughts on your end?
I saw a little bit of chatter about clock management at the end of the game, that maybe we should have held the ball more. I'm
trying to put points on the board.
Yeah, I don't.
If I score more than the other team, it doesn't matter about the clock.
I tried to chew on it, see if that made me feel some type of way. I don't. So,
Good note to end it on. Appreciate that.
for all your people, yeah, for all you people that, say why didn't we just hold the ball and,
Nah, man, come on, get
kick
that
a
noise out
field
of here.
goal at the end? Listen,
It's not 1984, guys.
look, man, we play to win and you got to score.
Yeah. We're not playing Jason Garrett football. We're playing winning football. I like it.
I'm let's wait for an actual clock management mishap and to excoriate them for it. So not today.
Cool. Well, I guess that's all we've got then. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, hanging out with us. Stay with us all season. We're gonna be here doing pre-games, doing game recaps, dropping little notes here and there. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave some comments in the chat. Little bit of love here and there. We'll be sure to reciprocate the love right back. Other than that, y'all, this is Anything for a Bit. Signing off.